Big guns. To dance with the big guns? Is that a thing?
What's going on? Can you guys hear me? Am I deaf? Can you hear me talking right now? Yes? That's good.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Of course, we've made it to episode number 6. We're over halfway to double digits, which is a bit of a surprise, Tegan. And we got a couple of characters coming on this week, so we can hear them in the background, but they're not coming out to you guys on air.
Oh, it's so great because we've had this feature the entire time where they can still talk in the background, and every other guest has been super quiet, but these two are just having a good old chat in between and trying to pull us up. So yeah, I can't believe we've made it to show 6. So it's surprising that Facebook hasn't banned our content yet, but.
Well, we haven't let them on tonight yet, so that'll be interesting. It's been one of those weeks. I tell you what, I'm not prepared for tonight. I've done no study. I've done nothing. I don't even know what we're going to talk about apart from these two guys. Let's talk about the guys we've got coming on. We've got Danny Probert coming on from X-Drift Industries. If you don't know, he's XD. It's that thing that's sideways right in the middle of your screen. Why are you doing XD? We don't know. We're going to ask him. And Dan Mackey, who's High Tech Drift Australia judge. He's been to D1NZ. He's been over Japan. He's got everything going on. And he sent us a couple of gifts tonight, which are the Bottle-O hats, which is the green with the green screen. Looks a bit chrome. So he's been a good bloke and going good.
I think my hat's my chair behind me is sort of blocking it, so mine's still a little bit green. But if I go.
He sent us the goods, mate. I mean, what else would you do when you're listeing to this podcast except have a beer and a good time? And good to see Aaron Atkinson's already joined us, Mr. Cav. Yep, good to see he's out there having a good time there in Darwin. So, Big Gaz is on there as well, so I can't wait to see what he's got to say tonight. But I suppose a bit of a recap. We had ICOT on Tuesday night, so we had the Chariots of Thunder with an eye in front of it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's been a bit of fun, and they've done a whole lot of testing leading up to that. You and I did the NTE series, and that was enough work in itself. But these guys have really stepped up the whole game with iRacing broadcasting. And I mean, there's about 44 people working behind the scenes on this show every week, and we went to USA International Speedway, 29 drivers having a good battle, and there was some great. It was a bit of a format change this week, and complete difference to the racing, and so many different results there. But I reckon we're doing a back-to-back show here, Matty. We're going to be back next Thursday night, so I think we'll do a full recap on the ICOT series for then.
Yeah, so we've got to come back and do it next Thursday night because I've got to go to Red Centre Nats. Well, that's the plan. At this point, I'm allowed in. They're going to let me into the Northern Territory. I've got to bus it to Sydney to go straight to the airport, a private bus, so I can fly out to get to Alice Springs to Red Centres, which means we can't do it in 2 weeks. So next Thursday night, we're going to come back and do the show again. Full ICOT review. We might even get maybe we'll see if Jace wants to send us some content or what he wants to do. Last night, I suppose, the only thing to talk about really is Jock Goodyear took out the A main. So he really took out the most points, but he didn't have the best night, obviously, before that, but he managed to make it happen. Jock Goodyear and Kiki Fallon stays on top of the points at the moment.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it's just pretty good. That's
do you want me to mute the boys in the background because they're having a conversation on their own? Should we just get them in here?
Oh, I think so. They've already made the big call behind us to say that we're not going to make it to show 7.
No. Look, so Dan Mackey, of course, from High Tech Drift Australia, Danny Probert, thanks for joining us, boys. Good to see you on board, and thanks for the sponsorship this weekend, Dan.
Mate, I'm always happy to help. Anything that can try and get a show that's really struggling and its ratings up a little bit. I'm happy to throw my weight behind it.
Hey, we've got 6 people on tonight. That's double our numbers. You must have done something all right.
Mate, look, I shared it through my network. It's extensive. I've got about 9 followers in my life, so you've probably picked up at least 1 or 2 of them, I'd say.
I've actually got 6 devices going right now, all watching the stream.
It's the only way it makes us look good, though, so we can sell to our sponsors. Yeah, Danny, how you going, buddy?
I'm good, mate. How are you, boys?
Well, we've been looking forward to this chat for a while.
Yeah, well, look, it's going to happen. So,
Excuse me. Hang on a second, mate. I've just got to get another beer. I'll finish one already.
Yeah. Look, we forced him to drink even harder than he has been.
He's gone.
He's gone. We've lost a guest already. How good are we going on day 6?
Hey, Danny, I just want to say that it's great to see how good you are with technology, mate. You got the stream going straight away and were able to talk to us straight away.
Well, look, I tell you what, this is no fluke. It took about 3 hours, I think, Tuesday night to nut out the fact that the computer's got no microphone left, but we're here now, so good to go.
I feel a bit left out. You guys have got hats and earphones. Like, how come you guys got more in your package than I did? That's probably not the right thing to say.
I don't know. You want me to send you my package?
Matty wouldn't have much in his package right now. It's pretty cold in Canberra.
Yeah, cold and rainy. It's moist down here,
He's still
though.
got
It
a
is very
t-shirt
moist.
on, though. That's what I don't understand. Like, I kind of figured that you blokes up in the top end would be in t-shirts. But, you know, Matty Cabs just come out with the goods again.
Yeah,
Where did that come from?
it's just because I got the heater on. 28's good for running your heater, isn't it?
28, that's cold, really, for the top end.
Oh, all right. So, what do we want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about drifting at the moment, Dan, or Danny? Do you want to get away? Let's have a talk about your XD. Let's.
XD.
I know plenty of things that go on behind the scenes with you because, well, I've been there for a lot of the time. Where we go back about 10, 12 years now, maybe more.
A little bit more than that.
Yeah, you didn't have greys when I met you.
Yeah, well, that's true. And I guess my main question is, Matty, where's my car?
Where's your car? It's out the back.
Yeah.
I'm looking after it. Don't worry. I go out and rub it every weekend. I go and sit in your driver's seat naked every weekend.
And it's cold down there, so these things
don't do
sticking.
that.
That is actually the reason why I retired from drifting, eh? Because like, you never know what your crew is doing to your car.
It looks like someone's beard hairs have been falling out in your seat. That's all I'm saying.
Which XD do you want to talk about, Matty? The real one, because you know your way around that better than I do these days.
Yeah, I get to look at it quite often, and I do like
Yeah.
it. You've almost converted me. I've almost want to go and buy a Barra. I'm getting close. Should we put a video of it up in action? Is that what you want?
No.
Come on, look
Yeah,
at this. Look at this.
why
I got one from Speed Week. I stole this off. This was actually your good run. Talk me through
You got to have one good run a year.
Talk me through who your spotter was for this one.
Yeah, well. This was
Look,
actually a country run. I remember watching this live. I was thinking, you know, Danny's going to be right up against this. But, like, he put down, I wouldn't say it's a 100-point run, Danny. Sorry about that, mate. But, like, it was a good run and it really, really gave a solid touch.
Yeah, well, Josh got one on me this track, Sydney, the International Drift Cup. And I'm not sure, we sort of had a little bit of a flat spot. We were trying to drive around, and I basically, on my lead run, I threw it away. So this time round, like Josh is such a fierce competitor, we left nothing on the table. I just gave it anything. Win it or bin it. So, yeah.
It was all the spotter, mate. The spotter caused you to do that.
No, look, you know, I appreciate where you're coming from, Matty, but, you know, you've proved yourself to be a poor spotter, and that's why, you know, High-Tech had to employ you for just one round to be a commentator.
You just
You're doing no good at the spotting thing.
I ruined High-Tech. I came once and it's all over.
Let's forget about these two. Like, what do they know? Let's just hijack this, I reckon. Let's go forward
Yeah.
with it. You'd be fair in saying that, you know, when you battle someone like Josh, right, he's a guy that's always consistent. You know, you've got to put down a good lead line, but you know there's an opportunity there for a good chase, right, because he's going to run a good lead line, yeah?
Well, with someone like Josh, if you put down an okay run or a safe qualifier, you're going to lose. There's no two ways about that. You have to bring something extra. Otherwise, there's no chance you're going to make it through. So in that particular battle, I think I may have had a little bit of an advantage where we had a lot of car speed and he probably didn't quite anticipate that. And, yeah, a little bit of luck on our side. Everything went right and we were able to force a rerun to make up for a mistake on my chase and then tighten it all up and sort of repeat what we did on our lead in the rerun and get through. So, yeah, lucky. You got to take those wins. But, yeah, it's always good when you can come up against someone of Josh's calibre and, you know, bring it. That's important.
I've always said, mate, like, you've got to, if you're going to play this game of, I don't know if it's necessarily luck. Like, to create luck, you've got to put yourself in the game, right? If you're not thereabouts, then luck's not going to carry you the rest of the way. But you've got to get yourself there. You've got to get yourself in amongst it. And I remember, what was it, 3 years ago? I was up in Darwin visiting you, and I'm devastated. I missed coming to have our regular state we have every winter.
Yep.
But you know, we talked about it, and you wanted to come down. And you came down. The first thing you said to me afterwards was, "Oh, these guys are really want to level up there." And so, for me, I guess it's nice to see you growing and learning how to get amongst the rest of the country. But you've got to put yourself there to have that luck fall either way. And I know sometimes it comes down to our calls as a judge, but if you're not in there, the coin toss is never going to go your way.
Oh, 100%, yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's really good to have Patrick and Mitchell come down as well. Like, that's something, when I was involved with the Top End Drift Association, like member development and stuff like that, it was really important to that committee. And yeah, it's to see those guys come down and be competitive, it sort of really validates what drifting is in the territory. And yeah, that's certainly, something that, I wear on my sleeve, and it's really good to see that, we've got some momentum now, and, we're turning out quality drivers like Mitchell and Paddy. And yeah, just it sort of bridges those gaps where we're so isolated from the rest of Australia as far as, like the way people drive to the way things are judged. It's that cross-pollination, if you like, that helps improve the base stock or the quality of what we've got up here. And it's really good to see. And, shout out to Justin Gill, doing an amazing job at the moment. And the rest of the TETA committee, they got the gig for the V8 supercars. Paddy, Mitchell, Shane, Jacob, throwing down, other Shane throwing down around Hidden Valley the supercars. That's like a dream come true, and good on those lads for making that happen. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think from my end, like I'm predominantly a speedway person, and I try and get down to the drifting when I can and check it out. But I think a cool thing that I've seen is where we have a huge show where we attract 50 odd cars, but we've got a lot of big backing behind there. But I think it's so cool to watch for you guys with your State of Origin Drift Series, the car hauler come up and just bring, so many cars up, and you get such good numbers to a territory thing, because, I mean, even anyone coming, like, let's say from Alice Springs, it's a huge journey in itself, or Adelaide, or anything like that. So, the following you guys have is a pretty cool thing, and it's great to see how many people back the whole drift association in Darwin and the interstate travellers and that. And obviously you guys are super great by going down and doing some of the other shows. So, yeah, I think you guys are, for such a young club in the territory, you're just going leaps and bounds and going to keep going forwards and growing the series. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see the drifting become a pretty regular part of the V8s moving forwards.
Well, I think the potential's definitely there. Like, Gilly rang me up and he said, can you get the old car out there? I felt that I'd be doing it a bit of an injustice, because like, I love my old car. It's like my favourite couch, but
is that because
I can guarantee you,
is they don't let
every
you drop,
day
they don't let you drop bog on the track? Is that why you didn't bring the old girl out?
No. The problem with the old car is every time I hit turn 5, like even if you do 2 days, I'll loop it. First time, maybe second run. And like, the guys are really striving to put that professional, image across to retain it for next year. And, the other guys, like, that could fill the seats, they did a fantastic job. So, yeah, the old Jigger, I don't know what to do with her anymore, but, it's not really worth spending a great deal of money on it. I've kind of got it there and keep it running, do a few skid pan meets. Maybe I'll run it out of the drags or something for a bit of fun, but...
It's too clean now. It's way too clean compared to what it used to be.
I ruined it. I painted it.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a pretty good question, and I wonder whether the facilities manager down at Hidden Valley, do you think he went and seen Jamie Whincup when he speared off the track and wrecked the grass and put in the wall in the practice session? Do you think he was down there and straight giving him grass seeds to go out and replant the patch?
Look, I doubt it. But I thought...
Or do you reckon the Drift Boys had to pick that one up too?
Oh, they would have picked it up for sure. Yeah. But I thought Laurie was bad until at the International Drift Cup, we cut a fairly big rut into one of the first turns, and we were told that we have lots of drivers' briefings at that particular meeting, and if you think lorry fires up, Sydney Motorsport Complex brings it to a new
you
level.
throw me under the bus here. You can expect a 10-point deduction next round.
Absolutely. But the lady, she was absolutely beautiful. I did a walk of shame with Bo Yates, Brad Toohey, Aaron DeWar, and I was actually genuinely worried what was going to go down. So we got the choice. We either accept a suspended fine or we could contest it. And I knew that I dropped a wheel, and as soon as I got up in the office, I looked down and I just pointed, and they're like, yeah, just there. But while she hustled like no tomorrow in the driver's briefing, once we got to the tower, she was as nice as could be, which was a bit of a relief for me because, yeah, I don't know how I would have gone if I got ripped to get up there. But yeah, it's all good.
Well, speaking of that, like Time Attack, a lot of the people who are watching, like all three of them, well, actually, Paddy and Mitchell are watching. So let's say one person watching doesn't understand. Talk about World Time Attack, because that is a huge event, really.
Yeah,
It's yeah, you go, Dan. Sorry.
well, I was going to say it is a big event, and I guess it's a big event from both sides of the coin here. So, you know, for me, I work in the operations side and getting it all built, and you know, making sure the drivers come in. It's you know, it's the biggest single event country. It takes lots of work and feeding drivers in and getting the right drivers along, and there's a lot of money that's spent to make that happen. And it's on a world stage too, so you've got to get it right. So getting a track like Eastern Creek to be on board with this, or Sydney Motorsport Park, is always a challenge. They've got they just don't like drifters for some reason, and I guess it's because we're driven to push the limits, and the limits are always you've got a track surface, then you've got a painted line, and then the grass. These poor guys have got to come back and fix the grass when we get it wrong, or when the drivers get it wrong. You know? So it's part of their job, but we definitely make it harder for them than the other forms of motorsport. You know, other forms of motorsport will stay on the track. You know, it's slower for them to get the grass, so they stay off it. For us, it's about getting to that limit, finding the limit. So it's a challenge there. World Time Attack, it's a huge event. It's 2 days. There's 2.4 million viewers or something that watch the show. So it's just a scary over the amount of people that are watching tonight, I believe, but not much. And it's for me, when we do it, it is actually a 12-month event for me to get it all right done. But you look at the guys like Danny and the other teams that come along, and they always provide. They've got the right show, and they're of the top level quality. So, Danny, how do you find it?
Well, first thing is, you roll in on the Thursday sometime, and you start seeing some of the machinery being unloaded. I always in awe watching other drift cars, especially ones I've followed but haven't seen before. And then you start to feel this atmosphere, and it builds up over time. And, by Friday it starts getting really serious. But it's incredible to, have drivers there from different countries. And one of the things I really love about drifting is that it's a community. Like, everyone sort of, it doesn't matter who it is, really. People will jump in and help you. You'll help someone else. And it's that feeling of community that I really like from it. And it's good to see, even at that international level, that still rings true just as it does, for me at our grassroots level back in Darwin.
Yeah, I must admit it was pretty good being over there with the Kiwis, and we've had the Japanese guys come over, but it's a pretty different sort of drifting style, really, because you have a head judge come over from Japan, don't you, Dan?
Yeah, Keiichi Tsuchiya, Keiichi, he built drifting. He was the guy that decided, let's do this stuff and work it out. So he's the godfather of drift. He is the god of drifting. He's the guy that built it. And it's always interesting. And for me, I always like to learn from every experience I've been in. And as you guys know, I've spent time in New Zealand, Japan. I've got contacts in Europe, and you learn from every judge and every sport, and you watch every event. But to have Sachia there with you, saying, "Look, we're going to do this, and this is why, and we want to do this, and this is," and to be quite honest with you, and Sachia and I have discussed this along with Brendan Duncan, who's the head judge from New Zealand, comes over, and we spent some time sitting on the hill, and Sachia wants the narrow line, different to the way we run the high-tech series. He wants the narrow line through turn 2. And the reason he wants that is because it's speed, and for him, it's still about the fastest way to drift a car through corners. And I absolutely understand that. And I respect that. It's not necessarily the way that it goes for TV, but to pull on the heartstrings of drift, it is the way it should be. And I agree with that. You come up with these conundrums where you've got all the money wanting to press on the TV thing, and all of the new drifters wanting to press on that same line. Then you've got all the purists and those that want to follow the traditions. So drifting's still an evolving sport, and I often say this to people, drifting is still a first generation sport. I did it, and I've retired now and do other things. So I still get in and have a play with them, a bit of me with the boys occasionally, but my car's not of a level of, it's 20 years younger than Danny's XD, but it's still the level of Danny's XD, you know what I mean?
I tell you what, one of the best things I saw at World Time Attack was one of the guys said to us, he said, it's a different style. It's, like you say, the judging's very different. They want to be really fast through the corners, but Aussies and Kiwis, we just want to do a big burnout. That's basically what it is.
Well, pretty much, it's just an excuse, really. It developed back in our years in Australia and New Zealand. It developed from the garage, basically, and people used to tinker on their cars, and then someone said, "You know what? Let's do a garage skip," and from there it built. And next thing you know, you had Australian and New Zealand drift. But I mean, there's a lot of good things, and there's plenty of drivers up there that really stack up in both Australia and New Zealand with the rest of the world. I still think Europe's probably leading the charge a little bit at the moment. And I don't know if you guys watched Drift Masters on the weekend. I literally had toothpicks in my eyes because I flew a drift reel event at Sydney Motorsport Park on Saturday night, and then I drove home with the top 32 on my phone while I was driving home, watching that, and then got home and watched the top 16, top 8, and man, some of those battles all the way through to the final of the Drift Masters event in Europe was insane. Did you watch it, Danny?
Yeah, I picked up. I was working myself on the weekend, but I picked up a lot of battles that come through on my Instagram channel, and just the intensity of it's insane. Like they're 120% the whole time. It's incredible.
Do we get royalty for your changing hat?
The hat changes. That's incredible.
No, that one was a bit tight, so I thought I'd switch up and see what I was talking about. We started talking about New Zealand, so I thought I should don a Kiwi hat just in honour of my mates across the pitch. I know nothing were watching. In fact, they probably all just pretty much barred Matty Cav Media because I shared it.
Oh no, I've halved my followers.
Sorry, mate. My apologies. But I mean, you look at New Zealand drifting at the moment, and it had to stand the test of time with COVID and stuff like that. They were midway through their season, far more into it than we were. I mean, Australia, we got one round done before we got shut down, which was kind of at a point where we felt it was best to postpone until next year and kind of add that in and pick up and do a whatever it's going to be. I think it's going to be a 6-round season next year at this stage. But for New Zealand,
exclusive on this show.
It is a bit of an exclusive on the show. And I'll probably get a phone call very shortly from either Taylor or George going, "What are you saying? Keep your mouth shut." You don't want to hear about what we talked about today's ops meeting, but they were 3 rounds in, so they were in a real hard place. They really need to get it finished. They try and get it done, and usually it's all over by May. So to run it this late into when New Zealand's often wet is a challenge. But they just New Zealand keep up with some cool stuff. They had that indoor stadium, or an indoor ground at Bay Park, which was another level of Bay Park. If anyone ever gets an opportunity to go to New Zealand, you need to go and watch Bay Park, because it's either going to be in the car park, which is awesome. It's going to be in the Speedway Stadium where they pull the mud back, have the concrete underneath it, Well, they're going to put it in the factory next door, which is, it's all just cool. Whatever that Everbay Park, I don't know what it is about it. The place is pretty cool to just come check
They
out.
seem to have a lot of corporate engagement in New Zealand, and that's something that we've struggled with in Australia, like just getting sponsors. Drifting sort of not on the radar now. Does it have a bad image in Australia? But we went over, I think it would have been 2016, and watched the D1 NZ final, and walk into a bar, bloke at the bar, oh yeah, what are you in Pakahui for? And we're like, oh, here for the drifting. And he's like, yeah, it's mad. You walk into a bar in Australia, and if you said that, you'd probably roll your eyes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I guess I think the difference over there, Danny, is that over there, like, drifting is effectively the same level of V8 supercars is over here. So if we're at the same level of V8 supercars in Australia, then you'd be able to walk into a bar in Australia and but you don't, because supercars is the thing. It's got TV, it's got all the bits and pieces. And I'm not belittling supercars. They do an amazing job and they do some amazing things for motorsport. They do, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, it's no one else's, they do maybe take a bit too much corporate dollar, and they don't leave a little bit there for some of the up-and-comers or the different series. But it's become a business, that's the thing. It's become a business for them. They're winning. So, in New Zealand, it's different, though. In New Zealand, business is D1. It's drifting, and Brendan's lucky. He's an amazingly talented bloke. He does awesome stuff. His brain he's got behind him and the team he's got behind him to execute those things is awesome. There's stuff that it is. If they were in Europe, they'd easily be leading America or somewhere there's more people to back it. They'd definitely be doing amazing things. But unfortunately for us, and then that's just the other thing too. For us in Australia or New Zealand, we just don't have the population to be able to sell ourselves and get back. A lot of the big corporate dollar is in America or Europe or somewhere there. So that benefits us as well. Don't get that backing.
That's right. Yeah.
We've definitely got the talented drivers, absolutely. We just need to find a way to fund them and send them over there to make a mark.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look at your car, Danny, because I've got some photos to load up, so you can take us through a bit of this. I've just thrown some random ones up here. You went out of your way to make an independent rear suspension. Yeah, oh, it's coming. You went out of your way to make an independent rear suspension. Now, I know a little bit about this, but what brought you to decide I'm going to go away from the traditional 9-inch leaf-sprung XD? Was it drifting that made you go in the independent rear suspension, or was it, I know you love playing around with angles and playing on the lathe and all that sort of stuff, but what sort of pushed you towards going that independent rear suspension setup?
Probably at the time, so the first thing I wanted to sort of resolve was give the car competitive steering lock, because at the moment with the drifting, if you can't have the ability to have big lock, you've always got that chance where you're going to have to back out if someone sort of winds it in. So we got all the wise fab set up in the front, and then it's really a cost constraint when it comes to the back. I was going to put a 4-link setup in it with a panhard rod or something like that, and I would have had to start again with a new diff, and there's 6 or 7 grand's worth of parts that I had to outlay straight away. So I got hold of a good mate out at Hidden Valley Auto Centre, Aaron Abbott, and I asked him if he had an AU rear end there, and we got one back and sort of put it up on the bench. And what we actually did is we worked out that if we just loosened the brackets that hold the front bushes for the subframe, we could actually push it up into the Falcon, and bolted it up and went, yeah, that's nearly going to work. And it weighs about 800 kilos out of an AU. That's why those things were really slow. But we basically just worked it back and sort of built it up, trying to keep the geometry the same, and it kind of happened.
Yeah, no, and I'm going to go back to the photos here. I mean, you went all out on this XD though, because not only did you put the wise fab front end in, we'll go back to that in a second. You got on dry sump, set up the whole lot on the Barra. So, I mean, you used to run a 410 Clevo. probably made almost as much power as your Barrow does now. And you've nearly sold me on the Barrow with this, but I mean, the dry sump setup, all that sort of stuff, it's not a budget build or anything like that, is it? You've gone all out, spent a lot of time.
Oh, look, I can't lie. It's been expensive, yeah. But, you know, to be honest with you, that Barrow there, the short block, was new from Ford. That cost me about $3,000. I wasn't going to put cams in it to start with, but did a little bit of research, and I was reading that with the cams in them, you can make more power at lower boost, which is in a drift car, you want the power, but you don't want it all stressed out. So then basically, you know, using a stock standard bottom end, I was able to free up a little bit of money to bit by bit piece of dry sump set up together. So it's more of I always knew the car was going to go away, and when it went away, it'd be away for a long time. So a lot of that stuff was done, you know, the decision-making process then was solely about reliability. So we sort of tried to make smart choices, tried to make choices that would reward us in the long run. I don't really think the car needs 1,000 horsepower. It runs about 500 real kilowatt, and to me it feels like plenty. It makes me pedal it a little bit, which is good in a drift car, I believe. But yeah, there's sort of, I guess there's always more in it. We could put a build engine in it and stuff like that. But the way I look at it is, you know, you have too much engine, you know, it makes it hard to drive, and you're probably not focusing on the right thing.
Yeah, I just got that image up now. This is the difference. So you've actually made a version 2 already, which just up on the screen now. So version 1 sitting there at the front, version 2 at the back. So what are some of the minor changes you went for? Like, what were you trying to achieve with the change in design?
One error was our caster angle, if you like, even though it doesn't turn. Basically, I had the front of the upright rolled over a little bit too far. That was giving it a bit of a mechanical advantage, and we bent the upper wishbone. So the two subframes you're looking at there, the front one is the one we pulled out, and the back one's the version 2. So you notice that the version 2 is a lot simpler just by design. You make something once, the next time you make it, it's a little bit better. And we've stood the uprights back up, and the arms are a lot stronger. So, yeah, we just felt it had some limitations in strength in that regard. And the other thing we wanted to do was be able to create a little bit of dynamic toe. So traditionally, the car's been over-gripped at the back, and what that means is having a lot of side bite. When you throw it in, it has a tendency, it wants to straighten up again. So you've got to adjust, which is when you adjust in a drift, as Dan will probably be able to tell you, that that's always noted, and that's not a good thing. So what we've done with this subframe is given ourselves an option where we can drop the mounting point of the inner toe arm bolts, and we can drop them down. So we can go from a neutral position where it, you know, we might run a little toe out or a little toe in, and through the travel the wheel, it won't change. Or we can drop the bolt that's going to actually give it a fairly over 3 inches of travel. It gives it about 8 mil of toe in over the axle. So what we found at Sydney was that actually gave us the ability to make the car still grip and go hard off the line, but when we threw it into a corner, it would allow us to be able to slow the car down a little bit without it wanting to straighten up.
You know, a fair bit of work gone into this one. I mean, you know, you've what you've done behind the scenes. I mean, developing that's just pretty crazy. Good to see we've got another hat change.
Oh well, I'm studying closely what's going on here.
You're starting to look at Danny's age.
I put this hat on because, you know, you look at what Danny's doing with those subframes, and it's pretty impressive stuff. You know, in drifting, particularly in Australia and a little bit across the ditch in New Zealand, you know, none of that sort of stuff is sort of looked at. But looking at where you've got mounting points for different arms and things to change drive, traction, and it's super important. I've often said to guys, and I think Danny follows along the same thing. You don't need a 1200 horsepower engine to drift. You need to be able to get that power to the ground at the right time when you need it. And all of that is about where and how the car's set up.
Well, we're talking about loosening up the rear end right now. Tegan's a speedway background. Can you, when it comes to street stock racing, like the Falcons were known for, are they allowed to put aftermarket rear ends in those?
Not generally. They have to be pretty standard across the board.
Because Danny's been trying hard. He's been testing it out in the dirt. Yeah, no. He's been having a good test of that one.
So he's been mixing it up. He's been doing the bitumen drift and the dirt drift.
Well, that's
That
a
was- Matty, that
Laurie's
was meant to
favourite right
be-
there.
Oh no, that wasn't that. No, that was actually a colder one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was meant to be a very low-key piece of street stock sedan development right there, mate. Very much.
I bet you any money Laurie was watching that and he just wrote down on his notepad like, watch for Danny when he comes back to Darwin.
I felt bad over that, and I said to Dan the following morning, I said, sorry about that yesterday, mate. And he said, yeah, that's no worries, just don't do it today because George gets pretty cranky about his bollards that we're putting up, the big signs and that. Don't wipe them out. I'm like, no worries.
I tell you what, the biggest thing we've got to carry with us.
Danny, I will come in with you, mate. I went back to the pits after up to the officials' pit bay there, and I said to the guys, look, Danny apologised for the massive hole he dug that yesterday. And I said, well, that's all right. We managed to get all the concrete in to fill it back up by about 2 in the morning, so it's not too bad.
The biggest bill when Danny goes drifting is rags. We've got to clean the car. I sent him plenty of videos when it comes back to my place, and we've got to carefully gurney out the engine bay because I think the rocks down where I park his car, it's actually built up now. He brings that many rocks home
you'd
back with
have
us.
Sydney Motorsports Park gravel trap, anything from Calder, probably a
one
good
at
200
Brisbane, didn't
kilos from Queensland Raceway, yeah.
Yeah, we had a bit of Queensland Raceway here. I've got a bit of everything in my backyard now.
Generally, the car washers cringe when they see speedway people coming because they know how much mud's coming. But yeah, Danny's changing that up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, look, you guys can't pick it on too bad. Like, the bloke knows how to find the limits. No, Danny, if you need to go 2.5 car lengths beyond the limits, but definitely know how to find the limits.
Well, at that particular track, I'm glad I chose there, not the next corner.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually pretty true. Next one, fairly ruthless on if you find the limits.
I
I
got to
think
give.
that's the only spot you can get it wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, I got to give it to you,
Pretty much,
Danny. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, you look at Chambry and Yates, the next corner on, I don't know, later on that weekend. That was disastrous. The worst thing was that Bo was driving a borrowed car.
Oh, no, yeah.
So we've spoken about Danny loving dinosaur cars. Now let's talk about this. What floor pan is that out of?
I know,
Yes.
but I'm allowed to say. What can I say now?
Is this a guessing competition, or are you asking
Well,
me a question,
I
Matty?
know what it is. How about you tell the 3 people watching what that is?
As a Model
What's,
T,
what's the next project that's coming out? Is this like Henry Ford's Model A?
Yeah, no, look,
Okay.
this particular floor pan's probably only a few years old, but it's a 1969 Mustang floor pan. So since this whole independent rear suspension's been working okay, I thought those damn Americans are pretty crazy, and I reckon they'd like a easy bolt-in IRS kit. So yeah, we just went down to the local trailer shop, bought a Mustang that was hanging in their floor. Yeah, send it. Make a rear end and
did you say you went to the local trailer shop and bought a Mustang?
yeah, they got them out to avoid your trailers. They're just hanging up on the roof.
Yeah, right. Mate, no, I'll tell you, I've always said the Northern Territory has got some amazing stuff up there, but that's taken the cake for it.
So
Yeah, I bought it off this guy called Crazy Dave, absolute champion. But he didn't tell me it'd been dropped. So when I made it, I didn't realise. I kind of measured it up. It's a little bit on the piss one way, but the way I look at it, it's Australian. It comes from the Territory. That's got to come with it. You know, it can't be perfect. That's un-Australian.
So I've just changed screens. This is what it's going to look like when you finish. So we are going to see you do a 69 Mustang. Is that what we're hearing?
You know what? It'll probably be 67, something like that. It depends what I can get. I've had a few people message me and they've got these, 25 grand for a beautiful, clean car, and I look at it and it's like, it's basically a street stock to me. I'm going to destroy it. How can you take something that's already nice, registered and drivable, and just kill it? So I'm looking for something, with patina paint already on it, around about the 15 grand mark, and that'll probably get the money out of my pocket.
I was going to say a good shed skid probably. Like if we just bring it in the workshop and just skid it until it blows the motor, then you don't feel as bad about tearing its pieces.
Well,
I like that idea, Tegan. You've come up with absolutely cracking.
We can do that live on the show.
How that car gets sent to the new world, because let's be honest, it's going to get beating when it makes the Australian drift scene.
What are we calling it? Are we calling it show 7 or show 8 that you're going to be doing this, Danny?
It must be show 8, because show 7 we've got Matt on. And he's been feeding me the story, right? He's been saying, if I do a skid, Jackie's going to divorce me. So I ring Jackie up. I said, look, I put something on his Mayhem page. It was, something simple like, he just cracked 1,000, and I was like, shared it. And I said, look, when he hits 1,500, he'll do a skid. And
Hasn't made
so
it
he's saying, Jackie's going to divorce me if I do a skid. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like Jackie. So I ring Jackie up. And Jackie's like, nah, not at all. If he doesn't do a skid when he hits 1,500, he's in the shit deep.
She's going to yell at us more.
She's going to yell at us more.
Sorry, Matty,
Wait for the
that's
new
off
merch.
table.
1,500. We're almost there. What are we at? 1,470 or something? I've done nothing with the page for a long time. I've left that car sit there and collect dust for a lot of years now.
All right.
Just opening it up now. Invite all friends.
So should we put the link in the page?
Yeah. Yeah. Link
Here
in
we
the
go.
page.
Dan Mackey's got a... Oh,
Hang
well,
on, how come I didn't? You said invite all friends, I didn't get an invite.
yeah.
That's
He
a
did say
It's
friends.
Darwin, mate.
I think the
We're
key-
all in with slow
Sorry.
here.
Keyword is friends.
Hey, Danny, we've already got a question in the chat. Does that rear end suit an XF Falcon?
With a grinder, yeah. No
Yeah.
problem. Yes, guys.
Yeah. I was good to see you reading the comments, Gaz. Gaz is getting there nice and early. We know you love the comments about does it fit an XF Falcon because, totally different setup in the rear end. But, it's good to see you moving on to the Mustang project, and I'm expecting that I'm going to have to do a shed skid very shortly. So,
Yeah, I can't take that back. You should have got the invites in, boys. It's
well,
real this time,
I've literally just got a like on the page, so something's happened.
I'll find it. I'll share it to my 9 followers.
Yeah. Well, we only need like 30 more likes, and I think we're up to 1,500. So don't you start,
with
Tegan.
I don't mean to boast. I got 21 followers. You said 9. I reckon we'll get there.
Hang on.
James,
You got 21, carry the 2.
Yeah.
17?
Oh, we're going to hit 1,500 by the time the show's out, Matt. And I think you're going to be...
Show 7.
Matty Cab, can you take it out to the garage now and fire the old get up? You might as well warm it up.
Yeah.
Actually, it's been on charge for 2 weeks, so it might actually start. It needs all the moisture blown out of the exhaust. Last time I started, we had a bit of smoke coming out of it, and I got a bit worried. But it's just burned up all the moisture sitting in the exhaust. So I don't know how much methanol is left. Probably 10 litres. We can do it. It'll last. It's got the 20s on it. Let's just finish them off.
20 watts.
20 kilowatts. That's all it's got.
Oh.
It's an LS, mate. Don't push it.
No, that's what you do with them, isn't it? LSs? Push them?
Yeah. Don't start. Oh, I tell you what, I got some good mates. One thing I learned in the burnout scene was always have good mates because you're always pushing your car.
Yeah, well, it makes a lot of sense. But, look, I could pick on everything if I had to. LSs, the whole works.
What do you reckon's the next level of drift car, Dan? I mean, like, we look at Patrick Barley this year goes and puts adjustable sway bars in very much like a supercar. Do you think, now we've had this sort of a hiatus, I suppose, due to COVID. Do you think that possibly, you know, when we see everyone come back out for the next round, we might see that start to become more common in the Pro Series?
I don't know about sway bars. I guess that's one of the regulations that you can't do it. So, you know, all due credit to Barley's, these guys are good at finding their way around things. They've been involved in motorsport a long time. There's been a lot of cars built. I'll tell you what, I'm actually really looking forward to getting back and seeing what these new cars are about. Is Danny falling asleep?
Sorry, I'm just laughing because I've actually got Facebook running in the background on my other computer, and all I can see is Mayhem Burnout car getting like after like after.
We're on, buddy. We're on.
Episode 7, the shed skid.
See, I don't get any of that much, but you know, from the drift, from the scene in Australia, there's a lot of big cars being built out there at the moment, and I guess the good thing about not being in a competitive space is that people they've got income now, or money if they have got income, if they haven't been, you know, knocked around a bit by COVID. But a lot of guys are building cars, and there's going to be some interesting cars. I think there'll be a different pro field next year. I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited to see what's coming out of the shed. There's nothing being released at this stage. I know there's a lot of things in the build. I can't say anything about too many of them. But my phone's been running hot with what can we do about this? Can we get around this? Is this a regulation? How do we deal with this? And I guess whether it's right or wrong, you know, we said we weren't going to move the regulations too much for 2021. A couple of very small and minor tidy ups that were not clear in the 2020 regulations, but basically it's staying the same. And the idea behind that was to make sure we had a platform where people could build cars and get some monsters out there. That's going to be what I know, and you aren't going to find out.
Yeah.
I don't need to know, mate. I'm just a commentator. Don't need to know at all. Oh,
No,
Paddy's saying
actually
the Corvette will be done in time. Maybe I got the sack because I did one show and then we had COVID. Maybe I'm bad luck.
Oh, I don't know if it's you, mate. Like, yeah, I don't know if it's you. Well, maybe it was actually, but
Yeah.
we could probably blame COVID on you if you really push us hard enough. A bit of a character.
I get blamed for it. Where's Jackie? She's not yelling at us tonight, Tegan. Like,
It's terrible.
this is the first show we've done where Jackie hasn't yelled at us.
I miss Jackie.
I just got it in
Probably
the
because she fell
background.
asleep. She probably fell asleep.
Come on, I didn't hit her up tonight. She hasn't fallen asleep yet.
What else is in
no.
the comments, mate? What else have we got? Any reasonable questions out there?
No, we don't have any reasonable questions. What we've got is the Corvette will be done in time from Paddy. He reckons the Corvette's going to be ready to go. That's going to be an exciting car to look out for, I reckon.
Yeah, that will be good. That'll be top shelf. They turn out a good car, those guys. I'm keen to see that. I've been talking to Paddy and the guys. They were planning on debuting in 2021, from what I know, and I hope I'm not running on anyone's thunder anyway. But you know, that was the plan. It'll be a solid car. I know from conversation with the guys that it's going to bring some new stuff to the Australian drift scene that not a lot of people see.
What,
I
like
think,
an XD?
Oh, well, not many people have seen an XD, but we've seen it for a few years. We're looking forward to Mustangs.
I was hoping that the $1 million Barra competition would get behind Danny, because that would have been great to see that down the side of the car. The NT Tourism get behind the $1 million Barra.
Well, you need a
$3,000 barrel.
Needs a million horsepower for $1 million barrel, doesn't it?
Oh, look, the guys at ESP would love to give Danny a 1,000 horsepower, I reckon, at least. They'd love to. They wanted to, really, didn't they, Danny? They were keen, and Danny's going, "Oi, boys, settle down. I know you love your Barras, but this is getting ridiculous."
Every time I drop my car off, like with Keelan or the boys at ESP, the last thing I want to do is be anywhere near it. I want that phone call. I dread it all day. And yeah, Glenn at ESP, he's like, "Oh, are you sitting down?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, righty, here we go. We just put a rack in it. Now we're putting a motor in it. No worries." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, it's sort of, are you all right if we let it make a little bit more power?" I'm like, "You know what it is, Glenn. I don't even want to know what you're doing. Just make it safe." Yeah, come in. You got a lot more now. No worries.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
threw an extra
they-
50 kilowatts at it, didn't they, at the wheels? That was insane what those boys are doing with Barrows.
It's pretty cool. Like the whole tuning game, it's difficult. There's so many, like anything, there's so many ways to do it, and there's so many areas you can focus on and get different, different adjustments and stuff like that. But it's sort of been interesting over, the different people that have sort of, worked with us to get it pointing in the right direction, and it's been a very complimentary process, if you like. So. Yeah, we're really happy with the way it goes. It's it doesn't sound good, but compared to the Cleveland, it makes a fair chunk more power, and like it doesn't get hot. It doesn't give any drama whatsoever, which makes it perfect for what we use it for.
I don't know if I agree with that, Danny. I still reckon that thing sounds pretty good. It's probably because it still sounds a lot like an RB engine, so that being my heart and my love.
Bangs.
No, mate, no. Look, it's funny. I've got a thing with one of the commentators over in New Zealand, Steve Daniel. He's a massive 2J fan, and ever since I went over there, even before him, 2J's just seemed to win a championship. But unfortunately, hands of Liam Burke this year, 2J did manage to get over the top of an RB, although RB finished second, fourth. Fifth, but
Do you want to have a look at where they finished? I did load it up. I'm going to get the wrong graphic here. You all right? No, there you go. There's the New Zealand standings.
I can't read that. Makes it way too small.
Oh, Liam Burke. What was Liam Burke in? He's in the S13. What's he have on board?
S13 with the 2J running that one, and Liam's one of these guys come up from I guess what they call they call it the pro sport, not like us, it's pro am. The pro sport. It's a restricted class, so you've got a smaller tyre. Basically, the cars are the same. It's sort of an interesting dynamic. They treat it a little bit differently over there, but it's a place to cut the teeth with really essentially a pro car. Liam was great. He won the Pro Sport Series 2 years ago and had a crack last year at the pro rounds, and he did really well. I can't remember, he finished it with 9th, 10th. But this year he just chipped away. He had a poor first round and chipped away and made it up, and eventually he was dominating, and it was awesome to see him do that. And the other guy up there who finished second, you can see the crappy there was Caleb James. That's his first year in the pro championship. He's one of those guys that wanted to get there, wanted to be part of it. He was learning about running a wide sticky tyre, and to see him come through and do a great job, finish second was awesome. He came out of the box, and I think he finished second round one, and then won round two, if I remember correctly. But yeah, just a great little guy. He's going to struggle next year to get some backing to keep going, but he did an awesome job. The other one's Carl Thompson, who finished third. He's got some amazing cars. I don't know if you guys saw his crash in the final round. But he effectively wrote off one of his cars. He took the second one as a spare because it goes like that. You get it wrong, you're on trailers. And Carl, he's smart. He's got a good team behind him. He's been plugging away at it for 2 or 3 years, now maybe 4 years, to get to this sort of level. And, I guess in Carl, I think he's done well because all of the guys there pretty much last year, he's finished them, except for Liam Burke, I suppose. But these guys are really stepping up. If you've been to Pukekohe, and Danny, you said you've been over there, like watching them come through that corner, that sweep at 200 kilometres an hour sideways is...
It's crazy, like just rolling those gears and like the intensity, you can hear that engine, it's just getting worked over. That speed, nuts, left.
It's nuts. And I've never driven it. I've been lucky enough to be in the passenger seat with some of the top guys over there. And I know Darren Kelly took it for a run in 2019, and it's just mind-blowing. It's boggling.
Yeah.
Just gear, and then just step clutch, go sideways, and keep the throttle in for whatever it is, 13.5 seconds. Doesn't sound like a long time, but when you're doing 200 kilometres an hour, you cover a lot of distance.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy over there. That was a big crash from Carl Thompson, but you saw him over in his YouTube clips, and he was over with the guys from Hoonigan over in the States too. So he's been around a bit. It's a bit of machinery he's got. I can see it's been a long night for us with the Bottle sponsorship. I can see Brad's noticed that we got the Bottle sponsorship up tonight.
I think the Bottle sponsorship's come in too much.
I mean, we know the Barleys are pretty serious, so the questions come in. Plans for tracks next year.
Look, it's a difficult conversation for next year yet. It's kind of hinging a lot on how everything goes with this vaccine. You know, the advice we're getting from the state and federal government at this stage is that they don't expect borders to be open until 2021. And then what happens after that is a big challenge. You know, at this stage, normally at this stage of the year, supercars are announcing their calendar, and at the moment they're announcing what they're going to do with the end of this year's calendar. So everything tends to hinge off what supercars do in Australia. And at this stage, they haven't announced anything. We've got some tentative bookings, we've got some tentative ideas, but I'm in no place to be able to say anything at this stage. As we saw from the start of this year, it's going to change. It's going to change. We have to flow with it, and we will flow with it, and we'll do everything we can to get it going. But one of the key things that we really want to embrace is to make sure that when we do go live again and run the National Series, that it's open to everyone. And if they can compete, who knows? I can't say. We hope to be able to run something. If we can't run something early, run something late, we're going to try and do something in 2021. But I can't tell you any more than that.
Look, mate, three of our four viewers are from the Northern Territory, so...
One's my auntie.
Yeah, I can see that. Your auntie. That's a sympathy viewer.
Yeah, you can't count Danny. Danny's not allowed to count it. He's on the show, so you can't count him as a viewer.
I'm adding a number, yeah.
We got to get back up there for the State of Origin drift. Really, I was spewing we missed out this year. To be quite honest, Tegan was actually meant to join me in commentary last year, but something happened, like some speedway event or one of those dirt things.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to just give up the speedway deal and come up and do some stuff with you, Cav. We've been able to do some stuff online, but we need to get back and do a show together, I reckon.
Well, last year was pretty good, Cav. Remember, you kind of held the floor, and there was a couple of us that chipped in and helped out.
Yeah, we had the podium. We had the sky view, the sky tower, didn't we?
We did. We had the sky tower. We were up there. We were calling the shots.
Yeah.
Thing is, with Matty Cav, he talks so much that you don't even realise it's only one commentator. He can go solo.
I tell you what, that is the truth.
We need you there to keep him honest, but
some people say if he does this shed skid, he will be going solo.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, he doesn't, but I think he's like 5 likes off of shed skid. So
well, I've shared the link in the comments on this one, so. For all those people who are not sure how to navigate their way over to the Mayhem Burnout page, just jump on. But 1,500 likes and we're doing a shed skid for show 7.
12 viewers, we're almost going to get there.
I think my auntie's just gone over and liked the page.
Yeah.
Can we do it like show 6?
Yeah, we might have
to.
What is this show 6? We're here now. Oh, I'm not set up.
I heard a rumour that you actually run this whole show from your laptop.
Yeah.
So let's go out there and strap it to a toolbox or a bonnet or the roof of this car.
Or one of your kids.
I think we're going to have to. We're going to have to get Hayden. Hayden's going to have to come out with the phone next. I got you guys to join with a link. What we'll have to do next time is we'll have to set this up, and I'll have to share it from my phone so I can come as a separate link, and we'll have to go and do a shed skid. I think we'll have to get another 6 beers into me, and those billet rims, they're going to get rim bashed.
I reckon we can do it tonight. I genuinely agree with Danny on this one. It's very rare that I actually agree with the driver. Normally I tell them I don't know what they're talking about. They need it done.
Danny's onto it.
Stay off the grass.
But for now, I'm agreeing with Danny. And I reckon if we can get another, let's just say 3 thumbs up on the bottom of that on that comments page, then that's it. You got to do it. You're out. You're in. Gav,
we're going to have to line up for show 7. I've got a week to find a shed where I won't get divorced. That's what I've got to do.
I've got a huge factory, the long drive.
You got it wrong.
Danny's just going to start 30 fake profiles now and like it. That's what he's going to do.
Well, I hope he does. I do hope he does because it means I don't have to.
What happens if you accidentally jump in the wrong car in your backyard and for the shed skid?
Well, blue car, red car, all same.
It's all the same.
Same, colourblind. Oh, gee, the LS sounds like it's dropped a couple of cylinders. I don't know what that is.
And a couple of kilowatts.
Yeah. Oh, it's added some kilowatts. I think the Barra's probably put another 200 kilowatts on what I got. So, yeah. But that's all right.
So
When's
what's
the
the
next?
next show, bro? Boys, apart from a massive skid from Matty Cab.
Well, that's the only real stuff we're going to have next show. I think we've got to catch up about the ICOT series, of course, the Chariots of Thunder Sprint Car online racing that me and Teagues have been commentating on Tuesday nights. So we've got a bit of a wrap up next Thursday night because it's every second week. I think we said about it earlier. There is going to be an E1000 series. We did a 5-round E series at the start of COVID, and looks like we've put enough pressure on ScoMo, old Jake Burgess, that he's actually released that we're going to do a Bathurst 161 lap broadcast for 7 hours on a Sunday team event. So that is going to come up in September. So we'll probably bring that on. I have been trying to get the roll races on as well. So I've been trying to get Matty to come and talk about his Starlet, his twin engine Starlet. You like this one, Danny? When you get a Dan, you get a Starlet and you put 2 turbocharged Starlet engines in it, 1.3 litres of Fury at either end, and you get the linkages to work together between the 2 gearboxes, and you get down. And they've sort of started the roll racing up and down, so I'd be interested to get him on the show as well. I'm hoping.
That'll be
Fingers
really
crossed.
interesting because I don't know whether you remember, but I know they used to do at Bathurst when they used to run the minis against the big cars. They used to actually run twin engines, one at the front, one at the rear. And my lovely film crew support beer, brand new beer. This is it's a Sanctus Big River XPA.
This product has been brought to you by Bottolo.
It has in
Everyone lean your heads. Everyone lean your heads forwards.
But they used to run minis with twin engines, one in the front, one in the rear, and they used to move the fuel tanks in, and those things are rocket ships. So Starlets is, I guess, the evolution of that. Go from 800, 900, 1100cc up to 1300s with the turbo.
I know he tried the 1.5 big blocks for a while, but I think he's gone back to one. It's been on the dyno at the Pecky's studio where you are, Tegan. Recently, was it on there? No, it's been a while.
It's been a while since it's been here. Yeah, I don't even know how they get it on there. But
what are they making, like 300 or 400 horsepower out of a 1.3 litre or something stupid? Like he's doing some crazy stuff.
I'm going to hide that just for a minute. I got my young fella here, Cooper, who's been listening to this dribble for the last, I don't know how long we've been on for, an hour or so. And he had to pop over and say good day. He might be the next drift star, but probably not because he's my son, so he's got a lot of work to do.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
That's right, mate. Dad's going to throw the money at it. You'll do good.
Beans, Josh. Otherwise, you'll find the snakes next time I come and visit you. Kevin just he wanted to say hello. Wave to everyone, Kevin. I think there's 6 people watching, so.
7 if you count us.
Oh, yeah. So you know what? You get more people at your Zoom meeting with the school than you do watching this.
It's not really hard, really. I reckon there you go. We got the whole crew there. I'm surprised my son hasn't showed up. Every time Hayden shows up at my end, we get about 4 times the viewers.
Yeah, well, so that's probably what's it telling you?
Nothing I didn't already know. Oh, guys, it's been fantastic to have you on tonight. It's been we'll let you go because it's been a bit of a show. But Dan, I reckon we might have to get you back. Maybe we'll grab Shembry or something and bring him in next time. I'm sure Paddy wants to get on. He's got a face for a webcam. I know he's keen. Yeah. He's watching the comments. Maybe we'll have to get Paddy on once he gets some photos of that vet for us.
Yeah, well, Paddy be good. Get Shembry on the Blaze Unit team. All the boys would be keen to get a part of it. I know Bo's been working on some interesting stuff. There's a couple of boys in the Pro-Am series too, and if you get an opportunity, mate, I know we're trying to build border around the Mexicans at the moment down there in Korea, but there's a few of the boys down there that'd be keen to get part of it. And like I said, there's some really cool builds. Happy to give you the inside mail, see who you can get on and who you can crack to get them in here.
We might have to get Jawar on, I reckon, because he'd know. He's building half the engines down there for the boys, isn't he?
I'd be too busy building engines, I reckon.
Growing that mullet. I'll tell you what, he's got an impressive mullet.
These engines? Apparently he shaved the mullet off.
What?
Said that out loud.
How do you have an Aaron Jawar without a mullet?
Well,
is that just? Do we give him a different name?
you know what you need to do? I reckon we get next week, 2 weeks, episode 7. We're
coming on next week because I'm going to Red Centre Nats.
Well, next week is better. Next week is better, and I think what we do is we have Matty Cab versus Aaron Dwyer shed skid.
We should line this up. It might not be next week. That might be a bit close, but I reckon that's actually not a bad idea. I reckon we should find a spot.
Mate, we're going to have an extra 3 likes in about 10 minutes, so don't worry about that. You'll be doing it skid next week.
There's no choice.
And he's always, if I know Dabs, he's ready for a skid at any point.
Yeah, I'm sure Mitchell's messaging him right now. Look, there's another like on the Mayhem Burnout Car page. They're just coming in. I don't even need to share it. Half my mates have never liked it. Now all of a sudden they want to. You would have thought I had a few mates. I knew who were my mates, but anyway.
There's one thing that keeps us all united, and that's that we don't like tyres.
You're there, Matty, 1500.
Yeah,
We did it. Show 7, folks. We're there.
My marriage lasts more than 10 years, and it's all over in 30 seconds.
Sorry,
All right, so we're going to have to line this up live on air. Shed skid.
That's it.
I'm going to be the host.
Do a skid the ACT and we'll kick you out. Look, there we go. There's the boss.
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
Tell Hayden.
Everyone's got the family.
Yeah, we're bringing all the kids in now.
I found a new hairstyle.
You found a new hairstyle. You just want to get it on air. Look.
Yeah. It's
It's good.
cool.
All right, boys. Well, thanks for coming on, Danny. We'll see. I'll go out and look at your XD on the weekend, and I'll go sitting at naked again just because I've got nothing better to do. Really,
Look, mate, if you can't get the Holden to do a skid, we're going to let it slide if you rip one in the Falcon, mate.
I've
That's
got
all
some
right.
18-inch tyres. I'm just saying, like some road tyres.
Mate, you just got an invite to do a skid in a proper car.
When is the next drift for real, Dan?
Next drift for real is September, I think it was 15. Coming out in about a month's time. 3 weeks.
Is that a Friday night?
Saturday night, mate. Saturday night at Sydney Motorsport Park.
And you know what the funny thing is? At the moment, I'm booked to do Burnout Masters that Saturday, so I could commentate all day and then come rip a skid in a Falcon. How good would that be?
Bring it over, mate. Look, I've actually been organising to take my car out, but I'll be more than happy to take Danny's out instead.
I can bring it over.
So much less.
I challenge it. I challenge both of you. Dan and Matt, make that shit happen. I want to see it go again.
It's going to be fantastic. Thanks, guys. Dan, we'll get you back on. Danny, we'll keep you up with progress. Of course, you support the show, so we'll keep you progress on the Mustang. We'll see what's going on in the future. But thanks, guys, for joining us. And it's been a ball. Now I've got to do a shed skid. Thanks.
We're there.
Thanks for having us.
And of course, thanks to the Bottle-O. Thanks to the Bottle-O and celebrations. Couldn't do it without you guys. Thanks, eh?
Cheers. See you.
Oh, I tell you what, Tegan, that's thanks, guys. We're gonna have to find a place to do a shed skid because if I do it at home, I will be divorced. Yes. So to anyone in the Canberra, if you got a shed, you don't mind a burnout happening, I'll drag the car around. I'll set up for whatever episode it is, and we'll make it happen. I reckon we've got to.
I like that. Right at the end of the show, I brought up the page and was just checking it out. There was 1,500 exactly on there, so we did it. We got you more action on your Facebook page in the last hour than you've ever had.
I've almost sold the car. I almost sold it, and now I'm going to have to do a burnout. It's good to see Josh Graveling from Alice Springs has got on. I know, Matty. Yeah. Look, guys, next week we're going to talk about ICOT. Obviously, it happened 2 days ago, but we'll get a bit more in depth than that. We're going to talk about the E1000 that's just come out privately, but I think we're already nearly full with people in entrance. Jake just messaged the page and said, look, guys, we're already fully. He put it out to the people who joined the first E-Series. We're going to have 30 cars, maybe some sponsors' cars. We're looking for some sponsorship for that. So if you want to message the page, if you want to sponsor the E1000, 161 laps at Bathurst online, we're going to broadcast that. And, of course, I might do a bit of a wrap-up of Red Centre Nats because I'm meant to be going, and at this stage, I'm going. Yeah,
well, and the thing with the E1000 is obviously they know that our attention span isn't very long, so there's been a special guest commentator brought in that's going to work with us, so we'll talk about that next week as well, and and have a bit of chat through that, because there's no way you and I are getting through 6.5 hours.
No, we're not going to make it without a wee break. We couldn't get through like half a carton without a wee break. I tell you what, how many of us had to actually leave and come back?
Yeah. I think everyone left at one point or another. But that's because commentators now, we're under a specific union and we get smoko breaks now. So it's a big achievement for commentators Australia-wide.
Since COVID, we've had time to get back and put that together, a workplace agreement. Oh, how great is that? All right, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. We're looking at all the comments. Gaz will sort you out, Matty. I'm sure he'd give me a shit if I was up there. Josh, I'm going to see you in a couple of weeks. I'm going to make sure I've got to get bus to Sydney to make sure I get to Alice Springs. Tegan, two nights out of 3 we've been together. Again, we've shared our passion. And I'm sure we'll catch up on the weekend because, I know, I love you too, man. Like, a few beers, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I just get this movement for you.
Yeah. It's good to see you got your auntie watching, so that got us an extra viewer tonight. So we're up to 10.
And then my mum jumped on too. So like we're the Peck family just boosting up the views for Don't Disturb the Commentator.
That's an extra 25% viewers there. 2 more people. And we got to get you some new shirts because you said your 2212 production shirts are wearing out. So Dicker stickers. Look, did our hats. We haven't got them on this weekend because the Bottle's got on board, but of course, Dicker stickers. Kelly Dicker, go and see her if you want to get your hats done, T-shirts. We're going to do a bit of an email to her this week in the hope that we might get some more Don't Disturb the Commentators. We'll actually get Don't Disturb the Commentators on there. And we'll get some shirts done up and we'll start wearing them around, and we might even send them out to some of our guests. So we'll see what's going on. Thanks, guys, for watching again. Thanks, East, for tuning in. Of course, we are going to do it next Thursday night because I'm going to read Send That's the week after. Have a shed for you in 5 minutes. In like 5 minutes. Oh, that's it. Come on, Gaz. Find me a shed in Canberra. We will bring, if I can find a shed for next Thursday night, I will do my best to get the car there and ready. I'll have to ring Taylor and get some methanol because I'm going to run out. Maybe I have to go and see Adrian in Skidmore because I know he put a bit of burnout show on the other day, a private show. So we'll check that out. But it's all good. All right, guys and girls. Thanks for tuning in. We can still hear the boys in the background. And he's going to find me somewhere to do it. If not, it's happening at the Drift for Real. In a couple of weeks, I'll just take the burnout car over there and let rip. And the lorry of Sydney can kick me off.
The lorry of Sydney.
2 streets over. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Tegan, you got anything else to say?
See ya.
Next Thursday night. Tune in. We'll send out the invite. See you guys.
Excuse me? Who are you guys? This is not your office.
Sir, I know we come off as a couple of lady killers, but I promise you we will be super professional on the job.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Credits.
The
End.